Hello, and welcome to We Live for Saturday, your favorite college football podcast. I'm your co-host, Mike, and with me, as always, is your other co-host, John. And John, we have actual football to talk about.
Yeah, it's amazing. Finally
it was
here.
Played on a field, and we can talk about it now.
Yeah, no more hypotheticals, man.
Nope.
And the SEC can't run from that. That's for sure, which we'll talk about.
Oh, we will. No more April episodes where we're both coming up with concepts out of our, out of this, just pulling them out of the air. We can talk about the real thing.
Yep. It's good to be here. That's for sure.
It's good. How was your holiday weekend?
It was good, man. I mean, of course, lots of college football, saw some family, did things like that. Watched a ton of ball, which was fantastic, and saw some wonderful upsets and some realities that you and I had been projecting to be true come true. It always feels good to be right about things.
I love being right.
Yeah, me too. We're pretty. Yeah. So far we're pretty good at it.
So far we've done pretty well. Pretty well. We'll talk about the things we are wrong about too.
Yes.
Looking at you, Mark Gronowski. But yeah, because I was high on him and woof.
Yeah.
But we'll get there.
Yep.
We'll get there. John, before we jump into these games, should we talk a little bit about the SEC?
I think we gotta.
I think we have to, right?
Yeah, I think, yep.
So the much ballyhooed SEC, Paul Feinbaum compared Arch Manning, Texas's quarterback, to Tim Tebow, but he might as well have been comparing him to Jesus Christ the way he was talking about him.
Yep.
For the whole offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Said he would be the best SEC player since Tim Tebow.
Mm-hmm.
Said it was going to be nothing but rainbows and butterflies in Austin. They were going to be an unstoppable machine that were going to move through college football and bring the SEC back to glory. And Alabama, likewise, was going to, in year 2 of Kalen DeBoer, they were going to be back where they were under Nick Saban. They were going to be at the top of the mountain, and the SEC and Paul Feinbaum could feel good knowing that his teams were winning big. But then they played the games. And Texas and Alabama lost. And Alabama looked terrible.
Yep.
Terrible. And Arch Manning, we'll get to that game, but yikes.
Yep.
Yikes. Didn't go great. So Feinbaum doesn't have a leg to stand on, and he said so as much himself. That he's been wrong about everything. And I'm just waiting for him. He said he was going to leave the country. Do you think I'm just waiting for him to take off.
Well, we have to find it's if an SEC does not win the national title. So we still have a ways to go here to find out.
That's true.
But as things stand right now, it's not looking great.
No, they had LSU play well, and that's about it.
Yep.
Of their top teams.
That's about it. Yeah.
So that's pretty funny. After all the hype in the offseason and 10 ranked teams in the AP top 25.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 of their top 3 schools went down in flames.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
It feels great.
Love it.
It makes, and honestly, watching these 2 quarterbacks, these highly touted quarterbacks, it made me feel really good about our quarterback, frankly, which we'll talk about that more. But Ty Simpson and Arch Manning did not impress. I understand they're playing, some really good defenses, although FSU was not expected to be as good as they seem to be. I understand Ohio State is Ohio State. So I'll give Manning a little bit of leeway, but not much. But Ty Simpson, there's no excuse in my opinion. It was awful. And honestly, Kalen DeBoer gave away a lifetime contract basically at Washington to go to Alabama, and it's looking like it could have been the biggest mistake of his career.
It's not working out great.
No.
So far. Does Wisconsin have a shot against Alabama now? People are asking, and I gotta I think maybe they do. Maybe if they can find some offense.
If they can find some offense, if Billy Edwards can get it together in that Vinny Anthony connection, I mean, I think it's a possibility. I mean, do I think it's
I don't even
going
like
to happen?
you know how much we both hate Wisconsin, but it would be
Yes.
genuinely funny if they went into Tuscaloosa and won that game.
Yes.
Would be genuinely hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Might save Luke Fickell's job.
Yeah, it would have to. You would think,
Yeah.
I think, yes, will I pick Alabama because they're at home? Yes. Do I think Alabama has the ability because it is week 1 to bounce back? Yes.
But Ty Simpson, man, he's not great.
But yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, and Wisconsin's defense looks a lot better.
Yes.
So I think there's a possibility if you're able to get the kind of pressure that Florida State was getting on Ty Simpson consistently, and if Wisconsin can replicate that, they have a shot. I do think they have a shot at this point.
You hear that, Scooby? Wisconsin shot in Tuscaloosa. Who would have thought? That's where we're at. Awesome. Love it. Should we start talking about these games, John? We have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. Oh, should we also just briefly mention the Bill Belichick experiment?
Oh, that's hilarious. So I just, again, not to pat myself on the back too hard, but I think you and I both called that the Bill Belichick experiment would fail miserably.
Yes, we did.
But I didn't even think it would be as bad as it went last night.
It was humiliating.
I mean, they got crushed by TCU. What was it, like 41-7 at one point?
Yeah, it was.
I think I turned the game off at that point.
Yeah.
But 41-7, and like, look, TCU is a good team.
Yeah.
No hate, like all credit to them. But that game wasn't even competitive, man.
No.
I mean, North Carolina scored on their first scripted drive, and then they couldn't do a thing. They couldn't do a single thing offensively after that. And TCU moved the ball pretty much at will as the game got going.
Yep.
So it was and like seeing a Belichick team have a bad snap on a punt, I was just like, and he's such a special teams fanatic. I mean, it must have been, he looked so miserable out there.
Oh yeah. He looked
so uncomfortable.
Yep. It was bad.
And I was just, people they always act like these NFL coaches that they're going to go to college and just dominate for something. Cause like they think they have a higher level of knowledge of football but college coaches also coach football. They also study football every day of their lives. And unlike NFL coaches, they have practiced recruiting and developing young players.
Mm-hmm.
And getting them ready for game day. And NFL coaches think that that's going to be easy. It's not. It's not. In fact, it's harder than it is in the NFL to get guys ready and focused at the college level. You have classes. You have kids, on their own for the first time. There's, the lack of life experience. Like, there's a lot of things that make it hard to keep a football team focused at the collegiate level as compared to at the NFL level. And I just think it's always funny that they think these NFL coaches are just going to dominate in college, and they never do.
Yeah.
Herm Edwards went down in flames. Lovie Smith went down in flames. Now Bill Belichick is going down in flames.
Mm-hmm.
And he's supposed to be the best football coach ever.
Yep.
That's what they say. Well, maybe not. Maybe not the best ever. Not at this level anyway.
Yeah. Well, you're like you said, there's so many more variables when it comes to college ball. And, it is, in a way, it's a different sport. And I think that I frankly think it's more difficult than coaching in the NFL. And if you don't have that understanding and you've just had a massive amount of success in the NFL, it's just not I don't think it's going to translate more often than not. And we've seen that, like you already spelled out. So it's great. I love it. Again, love being right. Pat ourselves on the back. Good job. And I guess we can move on to the games from now on. But
North Carolina's paying $10 million a year for this. $10 million a year to get run off the field by TCU.
Yep.
And God knows who else this year.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. It's man, we got North Carolina 1 year too late. It could have been really funny.
I know.
Could have been really funny.
Would have been amazing.
I mean, we should have won last year anyway, but it would have been funny to, take a team that bad and take them to the woodshed. Mm-hmm. But that said, now should we get into these games?
Yes. And if you want to find We Live for Saturday, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Podcast Addict. You can find us on Twitter at We Live for B1GSat. You can find Mike at Alibaba26. You can find me, John, at Norwegian Gopher. You can email us, We Live for Saturday, B1G@gmail.com. Let's move
All
on.
right. Yes.
Cool.
First up, we had the Rutgers Scarlet Knights 34, the Ohio Bobcats 31. John, talk to me about this game.
Well, it was a tale of two halves. The way it started out, it looked like Rutgers was going to run away with this. Rutgers was able to put up, scored touchdown pretty quickly in the first quarter, and then scored a whopping 24 points in the second. And they looked like they were going to be unstoppable. I was texting you. I was saying, okay, Rutgers, this looks legit. Ethan was on point. The running game looked fantastic. Like, it didn't look like Ohio was going to have anything going to be able to stop anything that they were throwing at them.
Right.
But that all changed, and you saw it in the first half. But I initially thought, it's the first game. This defense, it's getting gashed a couple times here and there, but it'll get it together by the second half. Well, it didn't. Things got a lot worse. This score is close, but if you would have just put a little bit more time on that clock, Rutgers would have lost this game. Mark my
Ohio
word.
took over the second half.
They totally took over in the second half. They scored 14 points in the third quarter, and then Rutgers defense, was able to kind of put it together there, and it was the final score was 34 Rutgers, 31 Ohio. But man, there was nothing Rutgers defense could do to stop Parker Navarro.
They got outgained by Ohio.
Yes, they did. Parker Navarro was 21 out of 31 with 239 yards, 7.7 yard average, 3 touchdowns with a QBR of 93.8.
Wow.
I'm almost 100 yards rushing on top of that.
It's a big time performance from a MAC quarterback against a Big Ten team.
So, look, I'm going to give props to Rutgers here. Like, I'll start out with this. As far as their offense goes, they looked like they were going to run away with it. Like I said, Ethan looked really good. The run game looked solid. Antoine Raymond was able to put up 87 yards on 14 carries, 6.2 yard average with a touchdown, and he was solid. And the run blocking looked pretty solid. It wasn't, this breakaway game or anything like that, but they didn't need to. They were able to throw the ball well enough, and the receivers looked pretty solid too. So overall, the offense looked great. The offensive line was holding. They were able to give Ethan time in the pocket. And by the way, and Ethan I know Ian Strong had 100 yards, but DT Sheffield to me could be their best target moving forward, because DT Sheffield is just he's got the speed, man. So Ian Strong is definitely a great possession receiver, and he's definitely going to continue to be a major factor in their offense. But DT Sheffield, he's going to be the one that's going to be able to burn you downfield and make these big plays, which he did a couple times. He had a 21.3 yard average with 4 receptions, and a touchdown. So he's going to be somebody to watch moving forward. And like I said, I think their running room is going to be good with Anton Raymond Jr. CJ Campbell Jr. was okay, but I think Raymond is going to be that main guy. He looks a little smaller, but he's tough. He runs real tough. He's tough to take down.
Yeah.
So, but on the flip side here, like we talked about going into this, what was Greg Schiano thinking hiring Rob Smith? Because this was a Rob Smith defense to a T.
Right?
I mean, they couldn't contain the outside run. They were pretty stout up the middle, but they couldn't contain on the outside. They didn't have the speed. Their tackling looks terrible. Their coverage was terrible. They were out of position. I mean, it's not I know they lost some personnel from last year, but it's not that. It's coaching is what this is. And honestly, and if Navarro continues to put up these kinds of stats, now understandable that this is just a bad defense in my opinion, But Navarro's not going to be at Ohio next year, like unless he's a senior. I'm not sure where he is, but like he could.
Well, if
definitely
he's a senior, he also won't be out of Ohio next year.
Yeah, well, if he has some time left, I'm not sure what he is right now. But if he
he's
has
going
any
to move
time,
up a level,
he'll be moving up a level, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, it was pretty embarrassing in my opinion. I know, yes, Rutgers, you came up with the win. That's what matters at the end of the day. But I would be very scared of what's going to happen here. Now, thankfully, Athan, like I said, did look good with 252 yards, 11-yard average of 2 TDs, 72 QBR. Your running game looks pretty solid. Like, offensively, I think you're going to be all right. You're going to win some games that way. But we've seen this. You and I personally have experienced this, what it looks like to have Rob Smith as your defensive coordinator. And I do not have high hopes for Rutgers this season just because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's alarming, man, to give up 31 points and get outgained by a MAC team is not like, look, I don't think yards like are the most important stat, but they matter.
Yeah.
They matter. And like getting outgained by a MAC team, that's really rough. That's really scary. And then to almost lose that game.
Yep.
That gives you some pause. It's weird. Usually Rutgers is the other way around, right? Usually we say, hey, this is a rock solid defense and the offense looks shaky. So Rutgers might have to win in a different way this year.
Yep.
I know. What was it you said that maybe Schiano needs to spend some time with Lincoln Riley or something?
Yeah.
Or was it you or somebody else who said
I think
that?
it was somebody else, but yeah.
Somebody said that. Well, Schiano needs to learn how to run up the score a little bit if he's going to win games this year, because the defense does not seem to be where it needs to be. Now, It's only week 1. It can improve. I just don't think it's going to because of Rob Smith.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see how it goes. All right, moving on. We had another MAC Big Ten battle. We had the Minnesota Golden Gophers 23, the Buffalo Bulls 10. So Buffalo is one of the favorites to win the MAC. They won 9 games last year, so they are a very good team that had a lot of starters back from a really good defense. The operative stat here, though, John, is that Minnesota outgained Buffalo to the tune of 443 yards to just 151. The Buffalo Bulls were shut down throughout the day. In fact, one of their 2 scores came off a freak interception return that bounced off Jamison Gear's foot before being returned for 60 yards. And you have to give Darius Taylor credit for chasing that Buffalo player all the way down the field and tackling him. PJ talks about playing with how. That's a lot of how.
Yeah.
Darius could have given up on that and let that guy score. And that changes the game if Buffalo scores a touchdown there, So getting that Buffalo player, holding them to 3, getting the tackle, holding them to 3 points was amazing. And then Darius, man, he was great. 141 yards rushing, nearly 5 yards per rush. He also had 36 yards receiving on 4 grabs. And then, John, the biggest thing going into this game, we were talking about the redshirt Frosh quarterback, Drake Lindsay. Look, he wasn't perfect, but he was pretty damn good.
Yep.
He threw for 290 yards, led the Big Ten, I believe, in passing, or was close to it, on over 8 yards per attempt, 2 TDs, and then the 1 freak interception, which was not his fault. And look, Lindsay was, and also there were like 5 drops.
Yeah.
So like, if you look at it, he was, he could have easily had another 70, you could have tacked on another 75 to 100 yards receiving on there with those 5 drops.
Yeah.
In the red zone, he didn't play very well. He rushed a couple passes, and he also took a sack that you just can't take on 3rd down in the red zone. But that's normal for a young QB. In the red zone, people, the field is compressed, and you need to make decisions faster. The game happens faster. So Lindsay will learn that as he goes along. He'll adjust and realize, okay, now the field's getting shorter. Now we're in the red zone. Now I have to make my reads just a split second quicker, to make sure I get where I need to go, right? So that's really important. So Minnesota had bad red zone execution, but played really well otherwise. The worst thing for Minnesota, like I said, were those 5 drop passes, but that's normal for week 1. We saw a lot of teams drop a lot of passes this week. So I'm not going to get too stressed out about that. And then, man, I know he had a couple drops, but Jalen Smith, the freshman from Mankato, is a revelation at wide receiver. He was open all day. All day he was wide open, and he made 2 huge plays, including the 60-yard touchdown catch to seal the game, essentially. Mm-hmm. And that was, man, he is fast. He's big. He's athletic. I mean, he's the next great Gopher wide receiver. I truly believe it. And I've been wondering who that guy is going to be. And if that guy was on the roster, I think he is. I think he's Jalen Smith. So, John, I got to be honest. And then you look at the end of the game, PJ Fleck had the ball. The Gophers had the ball the last 9.5 minutes. And PJ, instead of going down and scoring and putting it out of reach that way, PJ did his patented thing, ran the ball like 15 times in a row and kneeled the ball down on like the 10-yard line. Instead of scoring, was like, we're going to be polite. We're not going to run it up, but we're going to muscle you. We're going to show you that we can make it hurt a little bit. So PJ left points on the board, but he will do that when he has a lead. That's the PJ Fleck way.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Aside from the red zone execution, which I think is a very fixable thing, the Gophers played better than I expected in week 1.
Yeah. I agree. I think they did too. I think they played better than I expected. I think they played better than what they're getting credit for as well. There's definitely some other podcasts out there that are not, giving Drake, especially, I think, the credit that is due. But, that's
they didn't watch the game. They looked at the score and we're like, oh, it's a 2-score game.
Yeah. Well, that's typical of Minnesota and the people out there that look at the program for whatever reason. It's just like, it's tough for them to give that kind of credit. But, not that I'm bitter. But yeah, it's yeah. I mean, look, we could talk about the offense. We have talked about the offense, but like that defense, man, Gopher defense was just unreal. Anthony Smith is a freaking game wrecker, like we knew, and the linebackers looked great. The second, I mean, honestly, across the board, man. I like, other than when Kerry Brown had a misstep, which like happens every once in a while, even to the best of your players, but like that'll never happen again.
Yeah, I mean, he bit. It was a double move. He bit on it, and then when he tried to correct it, he slipped.
Yeah, exactly. So
it happens.
Yeah, but that was like the only glaring mistake, if you will, that I saw all game. Otherwise, overall, the defense looked fantastic. I have a lot. I think they're just going to get better. I think this is going to be one of the best defenses in the Big Ten. And I think, both sides of the ball are just going to continue to grow and get better. And what I wanted, the only thing, again, and I know I'm not alone in this, and I listened to Ryan Burns and Gopher Gridiron talk about, running Darius, 15, 16 times in the fourth quarter to salt the game away. I get it. I understand what PJ was trying to do there and trying to prove that we can grind out, the last seconds of the game and run on people, because last year we had trouble running the ball. And so he wanted to make sure that we could do that consistently. And, I'd like to see this next week not run Darius much at all and just see what our backups can do. So.
And we won't. Yeah. We won't run Darius this week. Darius, I think last year when we played Rhode Island, it was 48-0 and Darius got 14 carries.
Yeah.
So I think Darius will be done by halftime. I think we see AJ Turner get a lot of carries this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think they rest up Darius mostly. They just get him, they keep him sharp. They give him enough carries to keep him sharp, but I think then they'll rest him up for Cal.
Yeah. But dude, I just think overall though, this team is pretty darn good. I feel really good about it. I feel
special
really good
teams were good too.
Yep. Special teams were good.
The new punter looks great.
We can punt. We have a
punt.
Pretty decent kicker from what I can tell so far. So like that's pretty good.
Kicker was 3 for 3 on field goals. The punter looked good.
It's a solid team.
If we're going to be good on special teams, look out. If Minnesota's going to be good on special teams, which has been the Achilles heel of the PJ Fleck regime, really, then yeah, man, this team, offense, defense, special teams, you want to look good in all 3. And this team looked good in all 3 on Thursday.
I feel really good about my 8-9 win prediction. for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm with you.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Moving right along from our beloved John, we could spend another hour talking about the Golden Gophers, but that would be boring for all the people who wanted to hear about the rest of the Big Ten too. So we will move on to the next game. All right. We had the Nebraska Cornhuskers 20, the Cincinnati Bearcats 17. So Cincinnati had the ball with a chance to tie the game or win the game late, but they threw a first down deep ball, which was picked off in the end zone, thus preserving the win for Nebraska. Dylan Raiola, really good in this game. 33 for 42, 243 yards, 2 TDs, 0 picks. Great day for him. Neziah Hunter and Dane Key both caught TD passes and had nice days receiving with half a dozen catches each. And Nebraska struggled to run the ball, finishing with just 113 yards on 3.2 yards per rush. So that was something. The passing offense was really good. The running offense was okay, but not great. This was a weird game, John. Cincinnati could not throw the ball at all with just 69 yards passing on under 3 yards per attempt. Woof. However, despite the total lack of a passing threat, the Bearcats were able to run for over 200 yards on 7 yards per carry. Nebraska's defense could not stop the run again, despite the fact that they knew Cincinnati couldn't throw it. So Nebraska won the game. They didn't run the ball well, and they couldn't stop the run at all. So that needs to be fixed if they're going to improve in Big Ten play. That is, I mean, it's the Big Ten, man. Like, I love that Dylan Raiola looks good. I'm glad the pass defense looks good. But if you're going to win consistently in the Big Ten, you got to run the ball and stop the run. You have to, or else it's going to be hard. Unless you just have an unbelievably prolific passing attack. And while I think the Huskers have a good passing attack, I don't think they're going to suddenly be Ohio State.
Yeah.
You know? So they really need to improve in Big Ten play. And John, tell me now, I could be wrong, and I've had some pushback from Husker fans on this on Twitter. Am I crazy, or does the Nebraska D-line look a little small?
I don't think you're crazy.
Okay.
Also, you know, you and I weren't wrong about their effectiveness this year because of who they lost.
Ty Robinson and Nash Hutmacher. Yeah, exactly. Man, they missed those guys.
And they're running and their running backs as well not being as effective. Now, again, let's all. This goes for every team we're going to cover, every team we have covered. This is week 1. We understand that.
It's week 1. Teams are going to improve.
Yes, they will. This is not hopefully or probably won't be a forever thing for a lot of these teams. But these are just the things that became pretty obvious to us, at least straight from the jump. And I think you're right now. Yeah, it looks like we were right about the D line and the running back room. And so being a weak spot, but it could get better. But I agree. I do think they look a little small and just not effective the way they should have been against a Cincinnati team.
Yeah, the talk from Matt Rule's regime was that he was going to go for more athleticism. And you know what I always say about that? You need the size and the athleticism in the Big Ten. You can't just have one or the other. And you cannot sacrifice size in the Big Ten, or else you're just going to get pushed around.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that an average to below average Big 12 team pushed Nebraska around like that worries me.
Well, not according to some Husker fans who now think that Cincinnati was, or possibly going to be making
Big
a
12
run
title contender.
Yeah, playoff contender. Sure. Yeah. So
they passed for 69 yards. Good for the Huskers for stopping them, but this is not a great Cincinnati team.
Yeah,
you don't pass for under 100 yards if you're a great team. Probably not in 2025.
No. I mean, I think they've got a great run game at Cincinnati. It's definitely not like a bottom of the totem pole team, but I wouldn't say it's got a chance to win the Big 12 or anything like that.
Brendan Sorsby has always been inconsistent.
Yeah.
He just always has been. And I don't think that's ever going to change.
Yeah.
He is who he is at this point at quarterback for Cincinnati. Yeah, man. But Dylan Raiola, man, Dylan Raiola looks great.
Yes, he does. Yep.
He's a very good quarterback, and I think he's going to win Nebraska some games this year. So
for sure.
it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with the Huskers. I guess John, if it were me, if it were my team, if I was a Nebraska fan, I'd be terrified. But the Nebraska fans aren't terrified.
No.
They're like, we're rolling. We're going to be awesome. Things are great. Like if Minnesota had given up 7 yards a carry to below average Big 12 team, and we won on a defensive play at the end of the game, I would be taking antacid. I would be like really upset. So like, you know what? God bless Husker fans for never being upset about anything. You know,
it's amazing. It's like, it's that like goldfish mentality, man.
Yeah, dude.
It really is down in Lincoln.
Yeah.
I envy it. And I've said before, I actually kind of envy it. I
do too.
Yeah.
I do too. I wish I could let it all go like that, but I can't. I have to watch what happens and react to it to some extent.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. But the important thing is Nebraska did get the win.
Yep.
So that's what matters. All right. Moving on. We have the Wisconsin Badgers 17, the Miami, Ohio Redhawks 0. So this game was 3-0 Wisconsin deep into the third quarter. Things were getting tense in Madison as the offense struggled to show up. Luckily, the defense was lights out, and the Badgers found a way to eventually score, with about 4 minutes left in the third quarter to go up 10-0, and then eventually get up 17-0. And that was all she wrote. So, the Badger defense, you got to give some credit. They look improved.
Mm-hmm.
They are not so small on the D line. Last year, the Badger D line was undersized, and they looked like a Big Ten defense.
Yes, they did. Yeah,
like a legit Big Ten defense for the first time under Luke Fickell.
Yeah.
So I think that's an improvement. I think that's something that Badger fans can hang their hat on this year, is having a solid defense. Wisconsin ran the ball okay, and they threw the ball sort of okay, but that was it. Now, to be fair, quarterback Billy Edwards did get hurt and did not return, and we wish him the best. Hopefully he gets back soon. Doesn't sound like it's a long-term injury, so that's good. But he wasn't playing great before he went out.
No.
And Danny O'Neal certainly didn't play great when he came in for him. The good news is Wisconsin ran for under 4 yards per rush, but Dylan Jones and Darian Dupree were both around 5 yards per rush.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a little better. And then on D, Wisconsin had 3 sacks, 4 tackles for loss, 2 passes defended. So it was a great night for the D, mediocre night for the offense. I think if you're Luke Fickell after how bad the defense was last year, you'll take it. But obviously there's some worry about the offense. And Billy Edwards, and when is he going to be back, and when's he going to be 100% and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I expect it to get better on the offense, but there was some concern. Thankfully, the defense looks great, especially at the defensive line and on the edge. I feel like they've gotten a lot more speed. They've gotten bigger, longer. This looks like what we are used to seeing, for the defensive line coming from Wisconsin. I want to see their secondary get tested though by a team that can throw the ball better. So we'll get to see that. I'm not sure if I can really speak on that right now as far as how good I think their secondary is on the defense. I'm sure it's fun. I'm sure it's better, or overall maybe. I know there's no Hunter Wohler.
Miami of Ohio can usually throw the ball.
They usually can.
So the fact that they couldn't,
yeah,
I think is a good sign.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's going to be good. I want to see them against somebody that I feel more confident, but I'm not, this is not trying to throw water on anything. Defensively, I think it was very good, but offensively, yeah, man. Was it awful? God awful? No. But what I do have concerns about though, is even though the running game wasn't horrendous, it wasn't as impressive as like what you would expect and what I think you want from now a coach that is saying we want to go back to traditional Wisconsin run first power football.
No, they didn't roll over them the way you would want.
No, and even that last touchdown that Wisconsin scored, it took them 3 times from the 1 yard line to get it, to punch it in against this Miami of Ohio defensive line. And to me, that's not a good sign. If you can't even get 1 yard, with your offensive line and against a MAC team, and you're having struggles punching it in with your running backs. I mean, that's not what we're used to. Let's put it that way. with Wisconsin. So there's definitely some questions there. I want, obviously we're going to see next week, them get tested, as far as like how good they really could be. And, we'll see. I think they'll get better, but I don't know how.
Who do they have Alabama next week?
Is it next week?
I think it's 2 weeks, isn't it?
Maybe I'm wrong.
I think it's 2 weeks, but maybe, but I can't be for sure.
Well, we'll see for sure against Alabama. I'm just not going to sign off on Wisconsin's offense being massively improved or anything at this point.
No, but they could hold, dude. That Alabama game though, the Alabama passing offense doesn't look great.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Middle Tennessee next week. I knew that. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Max's team.
Yeah.
Go Max. All right. It's going to be really interesting because Alabama's going to have to play significantly better if they're going to actually, beat Wisconsin convincingly, which is, going into the year is what people were expecting. So that's going to be a big game for Luke Fickell, man. If he could find a way, it doesn't matter how it looks. If you could find a way to go into Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama, that is a proof of concept.
Oh, yeah.
That is proof that your program is heading the right direction. So that becomes a big game now.
Yeah.
Becomes a bigger game than it was going into the year, I think.
Yeah, well,
now that Alabama looks vulnerable.
Well, and for both coaches, I mean, DeBoer has got to make a statement against Wisconsin too. It's going to be, this is going to be huge. So I'm excited. I mean, I was already interested in watching this game, but now I'm like, now this is like must watch TV.
I know. Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely agree.
Yep.
Any other thoughts on Wisconsin before we move on?
No, that's it.
All right, Badgers 1-0. Good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have the number 12 Illinois Illini 52, the Western Illinois Leathernecks 3. I mean, look, Western Illinois is a bad FCS team. That's what they are.
Yep.
Luke Altmaier was 17 of 21 for 217 yards and 3 TDs. The Illini ran for 209 yards and 3 more TDs in a shellacking of the Leathernecks. Illinois looked good. That's a good thing.
Yep.
Nobody got hurt that I heard. So I don't have a lot to take out of this game. Illinois looked the way you want to look against a team of this caliber.
Yeah. There's going to be a few of these games where I feel like this is going to be our coverage because I've got a number of those as well that I'm going to be going over. So yeah, Illinois did exactly what they should. That's it.
Yep. All right, moving on. Yeah, Illinois, good for you. We're going to learn a lot more about Illinois this year or this week when they play Duke.
Yes, absolutely.
That'll be a really fascinating game to track. So next up, we had the Michigan State Spartans 23, the Western Michigan Broncos 6. This was a game that was a little, I expected more from the Michigan State offense, but at the same time, it was a pretty dominant performance. Aiden Childs, 17 of 23, 155 yards, just 6.7 yards per attempt, but 1 TD, no picks. So he wasn't explosive, but he didn't, he wasn't putting the ball in harm's way over and over again or anything like that. So that seems good. Mekhi Frazier had over 100 yards rushing on 7 yards per attempt. Brandon Tullis also 7 yards per attempt, 52 yards rushing. So that seems good from that perspective. Nick Marsh, just 5 catches for 32 yards. Omari Kelly actually led the way with 7 for 75.
Kelly looked great. Kelly looked really good.
He looks good. Yeah. And if he can be a good second banana to Nick Marsh or at times first banana, then, that's a good pair of receivers because Nick Marsh didn't have a big game, but we know what Nick Marsh can do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's going to come around. John, what did you think about this one?
I mean, it was a solid win for Michigan State. It was, there were definitely times where, especially early in the game, where Childs looked like he was doing some of the same things, like some head scratching decisions, making one outstanding play. And then the next you were like, okay, I don't know why you made that decision. Luckily it didn't cost you, but like, okay, is this going to be the same kind of run around this year that it was last year? But by the end of the game, he looked fantastic, in my opinion. I thought he looked really good. He was making smarter decisions. He's, again, what I love about him is his ability to improvise. Like the stuff he does in the backfield sometimes, like is pretty pretty cool. It's like watching a video game. Like, and I love that kind of stuff where you see these guys that can improvise and make things happen on the fly.
And that puts so much pressure on the defensive backs because then
Yeah.
instead of covering for 2 seconds, they have to cover for like 5 or 6 seconds. And that's a long time to stay with a receiver.
Well, and Childs just looks, it's so easy for him to do it when he's not panicking. You know, you can tell when there's a quarterback panicking and they're having to do something like that. He's just like moving around, just like, oh, cool. Like I'll do it, maybe over here, maybe over there. Like, and he has the athleticism to beat these guys, especially Western Michigan. Now that when they're in Big Ten play, that'll probably be another story. But yeah, I thought he got better. I thought the run game looked pretty good. You know, Mekhi Frazier and Brandon Tullis are both very sturdy backs. Like they run hard and
big boys.
Yeah, they're gonna punish you. So
yeah.
And the defense was solid. You know, it was very much a Joe Rossi defense, bend but don't break. You know, they didn't really get a lot of pressure on the quarterback until kind of the second half when that kind of got in there a little bit, but they were swarming. They were pretty fast, you know. So yeah, overall I thought it was a pretty solid performance. I did think they could have scored a few more points. That was a little disappointed in that as well. But look, you know, they held Michigan to 6 points, and those points came in the fourth quarter. So I think it's a pretty solid performance overall.
Yeah, I think anytime Michigan State can hold somebody from Michigan to 6 points or fewer, they're feeling good about it in East Lansing.
Exactly.
So yeah, this wasn't were they world beaters in game one? No, but you don't have to be a world beaters in week one.
No.
You know, there's a lot to build on. I think Michigan State's going to be improved this year.
Agreed.
All right. Next up, we had the number 3 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes 14. The number 1, soon to not be number 1, Texas Longhorns 7.
Unless you're ESPN FPI.
Oh my God. If people didn't see that, we just lost John for a second, but he did make a good point. ESPN FPI put out their rankings after all the Saturday games had played. And after they updated the rankings with the results of the games, ESPN FPI still had Texas ranked number 1. ESPN still had Texas ranked number 1. After they lost, they still had them ranked number 1.
Yeah. And I think ESPN heard me say that, and they were able to boot me off here for a brief second. So
it does seem like that, doesn't it? It does. FPI is such a joke. And we've been saying that for years, that all of ESPN's made up stats are BS. All of them.
Yeah.
Like they're just made to prop up the teams they have. To still have Texas number 1 after not just losing, but the way they played.
Yeah.
It's not like this was some classic game for all time or anything. No. Texas looked lost on offense. I mean, this was a defensive struggle throughout. These are 2 elite defenses making plays at a high level versus 2 QBs who didn't have a lot of experience. John, I predicted a defensive struggle, but this game was even more low scoring than I anticipated.
Yeah.
The key play came in the third quarter. Texas had 4th and 1 on the Ohio State goal line, down 7-0. And they try to sneak, and Ohio State stuffed them in the backfield. And that was the difference in a long, hard-fought game. Ohio State quarterback Julian Sayin wasn't amazing, but he was solid, going 13 for 20 for 126 yards, 1 TD, and 0 picks. The TD was a particularly good catch by Carnell Tate. It was a little underthrown. Carnell Tate beat his guy, was underthrown, but he reached back, grabbed it, pulled it in. Sometimes you got to help your quarterback out. Carnell Tate helped Julian Sayin out, and that was really impressive. In contrast, Arch Manning finished just 17 for 30, 170 yards, 1 TD, and 1 really bad interception. I mean, 1 interception where the moment he let it go, I was like, you could see it. You could see that he was throwing it in the wrong spot. And it was one of those throws where, and we got to talk about this with Arch Manning a little bit. If you have the zip on the ball, maybe it gets there. But man, Arch Manning, for being the number 1 ranked recruit of all time, doesn't have a lot of zip on the ball.
No, man, there's a lot of problems with Arch Manning that I saw against Ohio State, man. And again, trying
Ohio State's defense is great. Like, don't get me wrong. It's great.
It is, but he was throwing ducks, dude. He was missing passes. His accuracy was not good. And
his decision making.
I was not impressed. I wasn't.
No, he was forcing the ball into coverage at times. At other times, he was not going through his progressions and missing open receivers. And he did not look like a Manning playing quarterback, man. He looked like a deer in the headlights a little bit out there. He looked uncomfortable. And for a guy who sat for 2 years to be ready for this moment, he was not ready for this moment.
No, dude. Julian Sayin looked heads and tails better than
Julian Sayin did look better, and Julian Sayin has had Arch Manning's had one more year than Sayin to get, to hone his game. So the fact that Julian Sayin looked better in this game is kind of alarming. This Buckeye defense, man, we got to eat a little crow, John. I was critical of the Matt Patricia hire. So I especially need to eat crow because Matt Patricia, I mean, he had Texas figured out. He had them figured out. They couldn't do anything. And the new Ohio State defensive linemen looked great.
Yeah.
They didn't seem to miss a beat. They were active and they were big and they were rangy and they were making plays. And yeah, dude, this Buckeye team, I mean, Ohio State, if Ohio State is not the number one team in the nation when the AP poll comes out, there is no justice in this world.
Well, they're going to push for LSU. You know that.
I'm sorry. LSU looked great. Don't get me wrong. LSU looked really good, but that was a close game they could have lost to Clemson.
Yep.
I know it was only 14-7, but John, did it feel like a 14-7 game?
No.
Ohio State shut Texas out for 56 minutes.
Yeah.
And they scored a touchdown late to get it within a score. So it was only a 1-score game at the very end there for like 3 minutes. Before that, it was a 2-score game, and Ohio State was sitting on that lead and not playing overly aggressive. Just kind of trying to get out of the game. So I'll be honest, John, I picked Ohio State in this game, but like before kickoff, I was like, was I just being biased? Am I just a homer? Is Arch Manning going to be the second coming like everybody says he is? But he's not. He's just another college football player. And in this case, man, I don't know. Texas better hope he's hurt. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because if he's not hurt, he does not have a lot of juice on that ball. So I think they got to hope he's hurt and he's banged up. And then maybe I know I saw on the Texas board, they're like, Arch hurt. Arch's shoulder. Looked like Arch's shoulder was hurt. Was Arch's shoulder hurt? And I was like, man, you better hope Arch's shoulder is hurt because he does not have juice on the ball and he needs to have a stronger arm than that. If he's going to win a national title, which is the expectation that maybe not this year, but the expectation is that Arch Manning's at Texas, he will win a national title. He's going to have to show a lot more than he's going to have to improve immensely from what we saw against Ohio State.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And then the Buckeyes, man, the Buckeyes are in a great spot. They should be number 1 ranked in the country. They showed it with a big win over Texas. Now they have a couple out of conference games that aren't as big a deal. And yeah, man, Buckeyes look ready. Ryan Day looks confident.
Yeah, he does.
I also don't agree with all the people who think he's wearing a nipple ring. It's not a nipple ring. It's probably an anti-chafing thing, guys. He's not Ryan Day isn't wearing a barbell nipple ring. He's probably chafing because a lot of people chafe, and he's probably protecting his nipple from the chafing. Let's be real here.
And you know what, dude? Honestly, even if he was my head coach, I'd be like,
I don't care.
National titles home.
No, I'm not hating.
I
If Ryan Day wants to wear a nipple ring and whatever, good for him. Same with I have no issues. People always are me. They're like, doesn't it bother you that PJ wears the skinny jeans? And I was like, no, man, he rocks them.
Yeah.
He looks good. What are we talking about? So you do you, coach. But and if he keeps winning, he can do whatever he wants.
Absolutely. I wouldn't care at all.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. we had the number 2 ranked Penn State Nittany Lions 46, the Nevada Wolfpack 11. Drew Aller was a sublime 22 for 26 for 217 yards. The new receivers mostly looked good. Penn State's D was salty. John, this is a legit national title contender, and Nevada is not. I don't have a lot to say about this game except Penn State looks fantastic.
Yeah. Again, this is just another example. Like we said, there'll be many of top tier teams, college football title contenders will be looking or being able to do what they're supposed to do against, more inferior opponents like this. So, yeah, I don't think there's much to say other than they showed up the way they should have, did what they needed to do, impressed, and moved on. So, yeah.
Yeah, Penn State, we're not going to learn a lot until they play Oregon.
Exactly. Yeah.
And at that point, we're going to find out where Penn State's at for real.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of Oregon, that's a segue, John. Number 7, Oregon 59, Montana State 13. Thoughts on this one?
Well, kind of the same thing we just said, talking about Penn State. First and foremost, I just want to say the biggest thing to me in this game was Oregon wore their school colors.
Yes.
Good on you, Oregon.
Yes.
That's the biggest
Wear the colors, Oregon. Wear the colors.
Aside from the fact, the most important thing that they wore their school colors, which looks fantastic. Dante Moore looked great. Dante Moore, 18 completions out of 23 attempts, 213 yards, 9.3 yard average, 3 TDs, 76.8 QBR. Noah Whittington, 10 carries for 68 yards, 6.8 yard average, 1 TD. They didn't have to do a lot. They did what they did pretty efficiently. The defense showed up as expected against an FCS opponent, and then one that isn't as good as last year, like you brought up when we were previewing this team.
Yes.
Montana State is without their star QB from last year.
Right.
And so there just wasn't much that Montana State could do. I mean, they only had 46 yards rushing and 198 yards passing. So it wasn't a very impressive showing because Oregon's defense just looked so good. And there wasn't any point in time where Oregon, I think, was in any danger of anything or not looking good at any point in time. They didn't really struggle as far as I was concerned. So, yeah, there's not a lot to say other than this team showed up, did exactly what they should against a team like this, and, take that win and move on, and let's see what else you got.
I saw an interview with a Montana State player, and he was like, look, we're an athletic team, but, like, my God.
Yeah.
Like, he said the speed and athleticism from Oregon was just, like, awe-inspiring.
Oh, yeah.
It was just crazy to play against, even, like, just how fast everything happened and the way they move and stuff like that. So that's good. That's what you expected for Oregon to do. And Dante Moore, John, dare I say that Dante Moore looked the way we expected Arch Manning to look?
Yes. Yeah, there you go.
And they're both third-year players who sat most of the last 2 years, But Dante Moore looked ready for it. Now, obviously, it helps you're not playing against the Ohio State defense.
True.
So, but that said, Dante Moore looked pretty good, and that's impressive stuff.
Yes, he did.
All right, next up, the number 14 Michigan Wolverines 34, New Mexico Lobos 17. The Bryce Underwood era begins with a bang as Michigan's phenom Frosh signal caller finished 21 of 31, 251 yards, and a TD. He looked ready for the moment, even as a true Frosh. Michigan also ran the ball efficiently. This is a great team, I believe. If you look at Michigan in that run game, Justice Haynes, 16 carries, 159 yards, 10 yards per attempt, 3 TDs, long of 59. That's what you want to see. Now, Jordan Marshall only had 11 carries for 29 yards, which was not as good, but I'm not that worried about it at this point. New Mexico has scholarship guys too. They are, a Mountain West program. They're not, they have guys. John, I do think after a year where Michigan was not as good last year, I do think Michigan is once again a really good team.
Yeah, I agree. I think Underwood is the truth, man. He looks scary. He's physically daunting. He
Oh
can
yeah.
throw the ball. He can run the ball. He's hard to take down. I think that he's gonna turn into a freaking machine. I'm scared. Not
Yeah.
happy about it.
Oh, terrified about the next 3 years of him and
Yeah,
playing him. He's going to be in the middle of a Heisman push when we play them next year.
of course, of
You
course.
know he is.
Yep.
I can just feel it already. It's so annoying. I hate Michigan so much. Michigan fans, sorry. I don't like your team, but like I respect you guys. I respect your
Yes.
program immensely.
Yeah.
We gotta give it up for the Michigan defense too, John. 3 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. 9. And 4 passes defended. So, that's what you do. That's
Yep.
what you do on defense. New Mexico got to 17, but I'm not that worried about that. You know what I mean? I don't think that's any indictment on this defense at all. Michigan has a lot of new stuff on defense. I expected them to give up a few points, but they still look good. It's not like New Mexico was just running the ball, right?
Mhm.
Like they ran the ball for 50 yards on 1.8 yards per carry. You know what I mean? It
Mhm.
wasn't like another team that was giving up 7 yards a carry.
Yeah.
So I'm not so worried about that. I think Michigan's in a good spot, man. I think Michigan's going to be really good this year.
Yep. Agreed.
Cool. All right. Moving right along. Next up, we have the number 20 Indiana Hoosiers 27, the Old Dominion Monarchs 14. So the game didn't start great as Old Dominion scored on the first play from scrimmage on a 75-yard, I think, QB run. So that was bad. But from then on, the Hoosier D was much better. Indiana's offense quietly, I'm going to say quietly because they only scored 27 points, but they quietly put up 500 plus yards. So it wasn't like they didn't show up. They just didn't always capitalize on scoring opportunities. Honestly, man, this Indiana performance kind of reminded me of the Minnesota game. They gave up one big play. Indiana, it was the 75-yard run. Minnesota, it was the double move touchdown pass. And besides that, they pretty much dominated, but just didn't always capitalize in the red zone and when they got past the 50.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Fernando Mendoza was good in his first start, but not amazing. But that's okay. I think he did plenty to warrant optimism. I think he will play a lot better as the year goes on. John, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Well, Mama Kamish is not happy with Mendoza, as far as I could tell on
Really?
Twitter.
She's upset, huh?
She wants Rourke back. Yeah, she's not happy with
Rourke was special.
Mendoza. So
Rourke
I don't know.
Was special.
She's seen a lot more of what's going on with Indiana than we have. So I don't know.
It's true.
Maybe she knows something. But
yeah, so she's upset about Mendoza, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. Like
I
super upset, but it's something she's bothered.
I didn't think he played that bad. I mean, like 18 for 31 isn't great, but it's not terrible.
Yeah.
He still made largely good decisions, and he didn't throw any picks or anything. I don't know. It was his first game with new receivers and a new system. I didn't expect him to light the world on fire in game one.
Well, here's the thing. I think after last year, it's so easy to be like, oh, this is going to happen all the time now, right?
Right.
Have this
for Indiana fans, yeah. All the stars aligned last year, and now they expect that to happen every year.
Yeah, and it's just, and so I think there's even if it's still success, it's still a letdown if it's not we're blowing people out 52-7.
Yep.
I think so maybe there's that coming in, that factoring in a little bit. I wouldn't be too disappointed. I still think there's a lot to look forward to, and this team will definitely be improved as the season goes on. So
yeah, and I thought it was good that they showed 2 running backs who could play. Roman Hemby, who we talked about a lot, had 111 yards, almost 5 yards per carry.
That's great.
And Kaelon Black, 92 yards, 5.5 yards per carry, and a touchdown.
I think that's excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really good start. They also had another guy go for 73 yards. So in Lee Beebe. So it's they did that, and then it's Indiana. They spread the ball around to a lot of different receivers.
Yeah.
Nobody really EJ Williams led the way with 5 catches, but nobody really went crazy. You know, I think Cignetti is going to hold back until he plays Illinois.
Yeah.
I think he's going to hold back schematically, and he's not going to show anything. The reason why Cignetti wanted to get out of the hard games in the non-conference was so he could save all his best stuff for conference play. Okay, you open up conference play in 3 weeks against Illinois. I'm not going to say we'll reconvene then because we'll keep following Indiana, but we're not going to learn a lot more about them, I don't think, until we get to that Illinois game, and that's when the rubber is going to meet the road.
Yep, I'm with you.
Yeah, cool. All right. Next up, we had the Maryland Terrapins 39, the Florida Atlantic Owls 7. John, Mike Locksley is undefeated in late August and early September, isn't he?
Oh, he's the best.
He's as good as it gets. Remember that year he beat Texas? He like crushed them.
Yep.
And then went like 5-7.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
he's right on track. Mike Locksley doing exactly what he does best at this time of the season. So, I will say for the first quarter, the offense didn't look fantastic.
Right.
It was definitely, they were finding their feet, which is all right. That's expected. But I gotta say, man, Malik Washington, he throws a beautiful ball. The O-line looked like they were protecting him well. They've definitely found some more receivers that look really good.
Mike Locksley always does, man. He always finds
does.
Receivers. Always.
Yeah. Just making awesome, highlight catches all over the field. So, and he was spreading it around pretty well. Shalik Knotts, Jalil Farouk, and Caleb Webb were all, and Dorian Fleming all caught passes and were definitely factors throughout this entire game. The run game, not so stellar. Dewan Williams and Nolan Ray didn't do a lot. Dewan Williams with 10 carries for 54 yards. Nothing that impressive. But that's not really what a Locksley offense looks like, anyways. It's all about
they pass to run.
Yeah,
they don't run the pass. They pass to run.
And Malik Washington, not fantastic, but okay. 27 attempts or 27 completions out of 43, 258 yards with 6-yard average, 3 TDs, 48.5 QBR.
He's a true Frosh, though. That's
exactly.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good. Yeah, and he was like I said, he was hitting his receivers and he was moving around the field. So I was really happy to see that.
Yeah.
And then the defense showed up pretty well too. I mean, they kept Caden Veltkamp to 228 yards, 1 TD, but 4 interceptions. So the defense did pretty well. They showed up. They were able to protect downfield. They only allowed Florida Atlantic to have 77 yards on the ground. So again, stellar performance right off the bat. I just think, it's hard to say because we get this way every year with Maryland. This is going to be it.
They look so good early in the year, every year. And then they just don't get better sometimes.
And it's hard to I want to be more optimistic and be like, oh, they have somebody real in Malik Washington. And I think they do. I think they've got great talent at the skill position.
And they have a favorable schedule.
They have a favorable schedule. I think that they could technically look better than they did last year, but I still don't. I'm not going to tell you this is a 7, 8, 9 win team. I can't do it.
I mean, I can't even say it's a 6-win team without seeing a lot more.
I can't either. So yeah, they got to play some better competition for me to get to that point. But good showing today. Malik Washington looks fantastic. I think he's going to continue to get better. Yeah. Run game, not really sold on right now, but we'll see. Yeah. And defense, looked good against Florida Atlantic.
Yeah. So. But you know what? Better than looking bad against FAU.
That's right.
So we'll take that. Right on. Next up, we had the Purdue Boilermakers 31. Ball State 0. So when we talked with Justice from the G5 Hive, he made a point about how Ball State is kind of a mess. And we saw that.
Yep.
They're kind of a mess. But you know what? all you can do is lace them up and play the team in front of you. And Purdue went out there and they got the job done.
Yeah, they did. I mean, I gotta say, man. I mean, it was a goose egg. It's 31-0.
Yeah.
But
Goose egg.
Ryan Brown had
Yes.
threw for 311 yards,
Wow.
12-yard average, 2 TDs, QBR of 82.7.
12 yards per attempt, huh?
He was lighting them up. And Armad Branch with 3 receptions for 101 yards
Wow.
and a TD.
Yeah.
101 on 3 receptions. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
that'll
and
play.
then Michael Jackson the third as well, 6 receptions for 72. He was all
Come
over
on,
the
really?
place.
Michael Jackson the third?
Oh yeah, and he does the Michael Jackson celebration in the
He
in
does?
the zone. Yes, he does.
Get out of here. You're putting me on.
Yeah, he does. He does a little like whoop, whoop, like the
Yeah,
yeah,
I love that. Dude, I love that Michael Jackson as a pop star lives forever. He's immortal.
So yeah, I mean, look, dude, it was offensively, defensively. This does not look like the worst team in the Big Ten.
No.
I know it was Ball State, and Ball State is awful right now.
Yes.
And like you already mentioned, what Justice said about how Ball State's a total mess, and they are. It was very evident. But this team was not like there weren't any miscues. It looked like they were just flowing, and they were like, "This is the game plan," and they were executing it exactly as they should.
Barry
And it
Odom's a
was-
really good coach, man.
He is, man, and I knew this. I didn't want to say
Yes.
that like I knew that they weren't going to be the worst team in the Big Ten, but I knew that they were going to be better than what people are expecting.
We knew
So-
they'd be more competitive this year.
Yes.
I don't
So-
know how many wins that means, but they're going to be a tougher out than
Yes.
you know, it's like I'm already looking at our game against them like, oh yeah, we're going to have to show up.
Well, and not only can Ryan Brown pass the ball, but he's also mobile, man.
Oh,
Like,
he's fast.
He can
He is
scoot.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's got to be a lot to look at. You know, Devin Mockabee, you know, playing his 17th year at Purdue, had 14 carries for 59 yards and a touchdown. Nothing that impressive, but he didn't have to be because he had Ryan Brown throwing all over the field, and
Yep.
also Ryan being able to scramble when he needed to. So Purdue took care of business, man. They look fantastic. I do think people need to reevaluate and look at this team because they're going to be well coached and they're going to make the most of what they got.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think Barry Odom is just, you know, Ryan Walters just didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
Like, he's a very good defensive coordinator, but as a head coach, he just didn't, you know, he's a young coach. And some guys aren't ready when they get their first shot. And frankly, man, your first head coaching job shouldn't be in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Probably for
Yeah.
most guys.
Yeah.
Occasionally you get a Ryan Day where it works out, but
Yeah.
most of the time people should cut their teeth as a head coach somewhere smaller before they get to the Big Ten and the bright lights are on.
And you're taking over at Ohio State opposed to taking over at Purdue. I mean, that's another, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a different,
Yeah. So I agree.
little different thing.
I think Ryan Walters he was over his head, man. He just shouldn't have been there. But
Way, way over his skis.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how he does at Washington as DC this year. For sure. All right. Should we move on? I'll take that as a yes. John's blowing his nose. So I'm going to take, I prompted him to speak without looking at him.
dude,
And
my
then-
allergies are killing me right now with this
I'm
rain coming in. It's like
I'm sorry, dude.
freaking, sorry.
I've been
I
pretty,
apologize,
you know,
everybody.
I've had some allergies too. I've been pretty phlegmy as well. So like, yeah, they're bad right now.
It's when the rain rolls in, dude, that like all of a sudden, and I'm like an old man now where I'm like, I know it's going to rain, but it's not because my knee hurts. It's because my nose starts freaking running like crazy. And there you
Right.
go. And yeah, here it is. So it's raining right now. That's why I'm blowing my nose.
Fair enough. All right. Next up, we have another team we need to reevaluate. A couple teams we need to reevaluate, maybe. The Tulane Green Wave 23. The Northwestern Wildcats 3. John, I was watching this. So I had the Ohio State Texas game on one TV. And then I had the Tulane Northwestern game on my other TV. And every time I looked at the Tulane Northwestern game, it was one of like three things happening. Preston Stone throwing an interception, Tulane scoring a touchdown, or Tulane breaking off a big offensive play.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of was pretty consistent throughout. Tulane nearly doubled up Northwestern, 421 yards to 237. Passing, it was even 161 or 161 to 152, but rushing, man, Northwestern rushed for 76 yards on under 3 yards per attempt. Tulane had 269 yards rushing on 6.5 yards per rush. Woof. Northwestern had 5 turnovers, the 4 interceptions, and they lost a fumble. Oof. I mean, dude, Preston Stone, I look, I don't want to dance on your graves, Northwestern fans. Like, I get it. It's a frustrating experience. I don't want to think about how you feel right now. I'm sure you feel awful. So I'm not trying to be a jerk here. But dude, Preston Stone was never it. And I said he was not it.
Yep.
And we both said he was not it. And we were like, what is Northwestern doing? What is David Braun thinking? What is Zach Lujan, his offensive coordinator, thinking? I think Lujan's going to get fired mid-season.
Yeah.
Because it's been a total disaster, him as offensive coordinator for Northwestern last year and now this year.
I mean, this was embarrassing. Preston Stone QBR was 9.2. I mean,
9.2. Woof. Single digits QBR. You rarely see that.
Well, and look, like it was, and I was like, all right, like the first half total collapse, it was awful. And then like, God, man, like the fourth quarter, he was leading this drive and it was like, okay, maybe he's finding himself.
Right.
They're about to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
And he throws a pick in the end zone. Or almost to the end zone. It was,
yeah.
It ended the drive. That was it. I was like, yep. And nope, this is it. I was starting to build back a slight little bit of confidence in Preston Stone, and I lost it entirely. It's gone. I don't have any confidence in him moving forward. I can't. And their defense, Northwestern's defense, their D-line was solid.
Yes.
But there was terrible coverage everywhere.
The secondary was bad.
They can't tackle. Dude, they can't tackle.
No.
Like, Retzlaff made them look stupid.
Yeah.
Through the air and on the ground. Yeah.
And Retzlaff got to Tulane 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's not like this is a guy who spent the whole offseason working with his new receivers, and Northwestern might be, well, we'll talk about another team also, but Northwestern is in contention for the worst team in the Big Ten.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And I do wonder if they win any more than 2 games.
It's going to be rough, man. It's going to be really rough. I mean, Cam Porter, at least he kind of looked a little bit more like normal.
You notice Joseph Hyman got the start, though.
He did.
Which I thought was good.
Yeah, I did too, but I saw Cam pull off a couple good runs. And he looked a little bit more like himself. So if nothing else,
maybe Cam Porter's a little better, yeah.
I'm just glad he's healthy for his sake, I guess. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, that was bad.
If you take out all the Preston Stone sacks, then the running game still wasn't that good.
No.
Yeah. It was bad. It was bad all the way around. I don't know what to say about it. Tulane looks like a legit college football playoff contender from the group of 5.
Mm-hmm.
So good for them.
Yep.
But Northwestern, yeah, I don't know where they go from here.
No.
I'm worried about them. I'm worried about how the season's going to go.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. All right. Next up, we have the Iowa Hawkeyes 34. The University of Albany 7. So, John, this was not... The score looked good. The Iowa rushing attack looked really good.
Yeah.
They ran for over 300 yards on nearly 6 yards per carry.
2 really good running backs. Xavier Williams and Terrell Washington Jr. look fantastic.
Yep, and Jazz Patterson did pretty well on his carries as well, although he had not as many as I expected.
Yep.
Gronowski ran the ball a little bit too, but we can't bury the lead here. Albany is a bad FCS team, and Mark Gronowski went 7 or 8 for 15?
8 for 15.
8 for 15. Okay, for 44 yards. 2.9 yards per attempt for a QBR of 24.5. Mark Gronowski was an FCS All-American. He won 2 national titles at South Dakota State. I personally watched him play awesome. And I thought he was going to be so this is where I'm eating crow. I thought Gronowski was going to be a big upgrade. I thought that he would find tight ends. I thought that even without great receiver play against a team like Albany, that Gronowski would carve them up because of his experience. It didn't happen.
No.
I mean, they couldn't throw the ball at all against a bad Albany team. I didn't even know Albany had a team going into this game.
They turned into an option-only offense halfway through the first quarter, basically. Seemingly. I mean, I know they threw the ball some more, but barely.
They just gave up on the passing game.
Yeah, almost entirely. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I know I was really high on Iowa going into this year, and I thought that they had a chance to be a fringe college football playoff contender. But if they can't throw the ball better than that, then the ceiling is 7 games.
Well, and let's look at, looking at the offense, which everybody knows, we've all talked about it. And their top wide receiver, Jacob Gill, didn't even catch a ball until the third quarter, which is crazy as well. And their top tight end only had one reception for 8 yards as well. So it's just, this is crazy. But defensively, again, this is another year where that secondary, sure, the D-line is going to be solid. I have no doubt. But that secondary, dude, did not look fantastic even against this Albany team. I mean, they tightened up. Obviously, they ended up winning by a large margin. Yep. And the defense didn't let them score again after the second quarter touchdown. But that was bad. It was not good that Albany was able to move the ball the way they did through the air against this Phil Parker defensive secondary that we're used to seeing shut down everybody. And last year we saw some cracks. I pointed it out multiple times. We talked about it in the offseason. And I'm sorry, but it looks like it's continuing those cracks are starting to get bigger. And I'm not convinced that this secondary is going to be as good. I'm not saying it's going to be bad necessarily. I think they can get better. But the fact that you're seeing these problems happen in a Phil Parker defense is concerning and should be.
Scooby has said that the corners are the issue.
Okay.
And the corners did look like the issue.
Yep.
So, they didn't do poorly, but it's just Albany is such a bad team that the fact that they had any success at all was a little alarming.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm pointing out. I'm not saying they were bad, but it's not what we're used to seeing, and that's what and for you and I, we've seen it for years. So
I'm worried about Iowa in the Cy-Hawk game this week.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because Iowa State has looked really good the first 2 weeks. They just dispatched with Kansas State, and they looked pretty good this week too. And just I don't know, Rocco Becht is such a good quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, I think Iowa, this is Kirk Ferentz, man. Every time you think he's done, he's not.
Yeah.
So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt for now.
Sure.
That he's going to figure it out, but it didn't look good.
Well, Hawkeye Matt, friend of the pod, is not high at all on his Hawkeyes. He had higher hopes. I don't think he was going into this thinking that they were guaranteed a college football playoff contender, but I think he now is quite concerned, and he was pointing it out in our group chat. And I think there's reason to be, not to say they can't bounce back and somehow they'll still find a way to win 8 games, because
they will.
That's probably what will happen, but it's not going to be the way they want to do it. They want to have a quarterback. They want to have a passing game. And I'm not sure that's going to happen. I think it's going to be another year where they might not have that. So
it's going to be another year of running the ball, playing defense, and depending on turnovers and explosive defensive plays to get you wins, which Iowa can do, but it's hard. Yeah. It's harder to win that way than it is if you can actually move the ball through the air.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, next up, a game we don't have to talk about much at all. We have welcome to the FBS, Missouri State. We had USC 73, Missouri State 13. This was a Lincoln Riley special. Jaden Mayava looked good, 15 for 18, nearly 300 yards passing, 16.4 yards per attempt, 2 TDs. But Hassan Longstreet looked better. 9 for 9, 69 yards, a TD. So I know it's Jaden Mayava for now, but Hassan Longstreet, man, they got him in there and he looked good. He looked really good. So that's something to keep watching going forward. USC ran for 233 yards. They passed for 364 yards. Hassan Longstreet did lose a fumble, but they had 5 sacks and 13 tackles for loss, 3 passes defended, and so it wasn't much of a game.
What are you talking about? It wasn't much of a game, Mike. I mean, according to Twitter, man, I mean, this is hand Mayava the Heisman. They're going 12-0.
Oh yeah.
There's nobody stopping this USC team. I mean, Missouri State for their first FBS game ever. That's some serious competition, and we should definitely not overreact at all to this game. This is for real. We need to take this seriously. And we need to talk to our Nebraska friends about it and, pump each other up on us both going to the college football playoff.
Dude, you laugh, but I had a guy who's a fairly popular on Twitter, Arrogant Nation for USC fan.
Oh, I know him. Yeah.
And he posted, after watching our game, I don't see a team out there that's a threat to us.
Oh.
And I said, not Ohio State or Penn State or LSU. And he goes, oh, I meant a team on the schedule. And I go, oh, okay. So he's being more reasonable. But then I was like, not Michigan or Oregon or Illinois or Iowa or none. Not Michigan or Oregon or Illinois. They don't look like a threat. Nope.
Well, Minnesota wasn't supposed to be a threat last year. Remember that? Yeah,
I do remember that.
So I don't know. Just saying. Look, great numbers. Yes.
I mean, they looked really good. USC looks really good. I just think that there are other teams that are also good in the Big Ten.
Exactly. And I'm not saying that they couldn't make a run. Of course, they could
make a playoff run. They absolutely could.
But to just read into the fact that this is the very first FBS game that Missouri State has ever played, and you're making these come on, man. Like let's keep your feet on the ground. We've already got one fan base who's living up with their head in the clouds for the last 12 years, so let's we don't need another one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But you know what? Good for USC. They looked really good. They move on. We'll see what they do. It'll be interesting to see what they do in the weeks to come.
And I want to say, I do want to give Riley credit too. I am glad that he did put, this is what I would have done. And I love it when I see coaches actually do this when they put the backups in the second half. Cause he clearly saw that he could do that. And that's exactly what you want. You
got to get guys reps.
I love that. So props for Riley for making sure that happened. And I think that's obviously that's going to benefit them in the long run, and which could, lead them to a possible college football playoff berth.
Yeah. So, John, next up, we got to talk about a game that was kind of unpleasant. This was on the level of Northwestern.
Oof. Yeah.
We had the Utah Utes 43, the UCLA Bruins 10. And this game was in LA, so it was in front of a home crowd, which made it even more insulting. But this was rough, man. I mean, Utah had 30 first downs to UCLA's just 14. Nico Iamaleava was running for his life nonstop. UCLA couldn't run the ball at all. And Utah, man, they scored. It seemed like they scored on their first 4 possessions or something like that. It was like, I mean, it was like 23-0 before you could blink.
Yeah. Yep.
I want to say, or like, I'm not sure if that was the exact score.
It was like 20. It was 23-7, but they put up those 23 points real fast, man.
Yeah, it was 23-7, but it felt like the game was already over at that point.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And then it only escalated from there to get to 43-10.
Yeah, man.
So really rough, man. Really rough. Utah went off for 500 yards. UCLA, look, we knew they lost a lot on defense. They lost Carson Schlesinger. They lost a lot. So the offense was going to have to be improved to make up for the losses on defense. And I just don't think the offense is improved.
No.
Like, I don't think Nico even played badly. I just don't think he had any help at all.
No.
The offensive line can't block. His receivers couldn't get open. I mean, it was rough.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't even hit Gilmer until the third quarter. And I just think there were too many, fourth and shorts, too many stalled drives. Like you said, Nico was running for his life. He can run, he can scramble. He was their leading rusher in this game, which is not what you want to see for your offense. No. And then the defense, they can't stop the run, and bad tackling again. Like this is they are in danger. They are.
Well, they can't stop the pass either.
No,
I mean, Utah was 21 for 25.
Yeah,
for over 200 yards.
So I've got a question for you though.
Yeah.
When does Nico Imaliava enter the transfer portal?
He already used his redshirt year, so there's no point in doing it now. He's got to play it out, man. Here's what I think. I think in like sometime in the next month and a half, Nico is going to have an injury.
Yeah.
And that injury is going to they're going to shut it down for the year and start looking for somewhere for him to transfer to.
Okay. I can see that. And now second question, how remorseful is Deshaun Foster that he let Joey Aguilar, who looked great at Tennessee, how regretful is he that he let him go?
I mean, I think it was a big mistake.
Like we said.
Because, and here's why. I don't think UCLA played hard for Nico.
No.
I don't think they played hard. And I think that Joey Aguilar had earned the trust of the team and had won over the locker room. And I think those guys were ready to play hard for Joey Aguilar.
Yep.
I don't think they're ready to play hard for Nico. Nope. I don't think Nico's that kind of leader. And the defense is a wreck, man. It's a wreck. Like they were so good on defense last year. And I thought Deshaun Foster would be able to make them look a little more competent, but they looked really bad.
And like maybe it's in my head, but even just looking at close-ups of Nico during the game, the look in his eyes was just like, I don't want to be here. Like this is not what I want. Like what? Yeah. And I don't even I don't know the whole backstory of all the things, man. But like this is turning out to be pretty much exactly what we expected. And I know that again, yes, this is week 1, but to be honest, this is something that I feel pretty confident in saying. I don't think it's going to get better.
UCLA's cooked, man. They're cooked.
Yep. I don't think it's going to get better. I can see Northwestern maybe putting some things together here and there and being able to, not necessarily are they going to win a lot more games, but
no, but if they don't turn the ball over 5 times, maybe they can be in some games.
I could see some improvement where UCLA, I'm sorry, I am very nervous of whether we're going to see any improvement at all through the season.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm never going to say I told you so for sure after week 1 because we don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But, Nico, obviously, and the fact that his dad did the whole, like, we're going there because they have better weapons. They don't. Tennessee has far better every position than UCLA on offense.
Yep.
From the receivers to the line to the backs so that was always stupid to say because it wasn't true. And now we're seeing how not true it was.
Yeah. Yep.
So it is. Yeah, man. I think not only that, like I said, when Deshaun Foster essentially traded for Nico, I said this might be the move that gets him fired.
Yep.
And if this year goes as badly as it looks like it's going to go, Deshaun Foster could get fired this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah. So, all right.
Yeah. All right. Last game of the night. Or of the weekend, I guess I should say. It wasn't one night. It was 3 days. 3 beautiful days of Big Ten football. The Washington Huskies 38. The Colorado State Rams 21. John, what'd you think of this one?
Well, Washington came out and eventually won in a dominant fashion, if you don't take into account the whole first half.
Tied at half.
It was tied at half.
Tied at half.
Look, Colorado State stayed in it a lot longer than they should have been, in my opinion.
They were in it the whole third quarter, like through into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was it was a Washington defense that was struggling that kept Colorado State in this.
Right.
And Colorado State was able to throw the ball just enough and run the ball enough, and definitely schemed up some good enough plays that were able to effectively work against this Washington defense. That was really where it was. They were having some issues. Washington was having issues stopping the run. Their tackling looked bad in the first half. They were able to tighten it up though in the second. Their coverage wasn't great at times.
I was going to say in the second half, they shut the run game down.
They did. Yeah. It was just that first half where they were all over the place. They didn't really know what they were doing seemingly is what it looked like. But there is a freaking freak athlete on Washington's offense, and his name is Jonah Coleman.
God, he's great.
I mean, look,
he's so good.
Props to Damon Williams Jr. He went 18 out of 24 for 226 yards, 9.4 yard average, 1 TD, 69.7 QBR. Great. That's good. Denzel Boston.
Good performance.
Yeah. Denzel Boston, 5 receptions, 92 yards. Adam Muhammad for two receptions, 38 yards. They threw it around a little bit. But Jonah Coleman, man. 24 carries for 177 yards, 7.4 yard average, and 2 TDs with a 38-yard long. I mean, this guy was so fun to watch. He breaks tackles. He's got fantastic vision. I mean, this guy, in my opinion, he's one of the best running backs in the country.
Hands down.
Yeah.
No question.
So you're going to win games.
He's probably the best back in the Big Ten, next to Nick Singleton, maybe.
I mean,
he might be better than Nick Singleton. Yeah.
Could give him a run for his money. I mean, I think right now
Yes.
it's a toss-up in my opinion. I mean, I know Penn State fans, you may totally disagree, but I think that's
he's special.
There's an argument. And look, and I think early on the offensive line looked a little shaky in the pass pro. Williams had a little too much pressure on him at times. There was a weird missed snap that caused a turnover. I don't know if you saw that. That was weird. The center snapped too early. Damon Williams was looking onto the sideline, trying to get some signals and talking or whatever, communicating. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the center just snaps the ball.
Oh no!
And you saw Damon Williams just and turned over. It didn't. I don't think it caused much damage, but still, it was just kind of weird.
Yeah.
But
that's
again,
week one stuff. That stuff happens in week one.
Exactly. Yeah. But then you saw Damon Williams showing how, what he can do with his legs, and Boston making a big TD catch. So I think it's going to be fine. Just so, some missteps here and there. But yeah, I mean, Washington got it together. That's the main point. They started out shaky, and then they got things together in the second half, and they were able to come out with a win. They only allowed 1 touchdown in the second half, and blanked them in the fourth quarter. So eventually, Washington definitely looked like the more dominant team, but it took them a little while to get there. But again, Jonah Coleman, just with him in your backfield, I feel like that's just all you need right there. So it was
really special.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be interesting to watch Washington the next couple of weeks. They've got Cal Davis, which will be a scrimmage, and then Wazoo, who does not look very good.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got the Buckeyes to start Big Ten play. So it's gonna be a really interesting next month or so. We're gonna get a really good idea of how good Washington is.
Yep.
And whether they can, whether they're at a point in their development where they can make it interesting with a team like Ohio State or not. But regardless, the schedule sets up pretty well. They still get to play Maryland and Rutgers and Wisconsin and Purdue and UCLA. So, I mean, there are, along with the tough games, Oregon, Illinois, Michigan, and Ohio State. So there are, they're going to be a fun team to watch this year.
I agree. I think they're going to continue to get better. Defensively, I think there'll still be some games like we talked about, or you mentioned multiple times about with Ryan Williams and his new defense, Walters. Sorry.
Yes, Ryan Walters.
And his defense and having the personnel. You definitely saw it in the first half that you were like, maybe they don't have the guys there, but they're learning a new defense. I think it'll get better. So yeah,
I think so too. John, 18
cool.
Big Ten games, and the Big Ten went 16-2.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty solid. You could, considering Ohio State is the number 1 team in the land and Penn State should be number 2, although I have a feeling they're going to jump LSU over Penn State.
Yes, they will. They will.
But that's still going to have, you know, two or three of the top 5 teams. I think it's exciting. It's going to be a really great year. I'm really pumped after seeing the teams in action in week 1. It's interesting to see the stuff we think we might be right about, might be wrong about. But again, it's just 1 week.
Yes.
You know, the 2019 Minnesota Golden Gophers played 3 close out of conference games. 3.
Yep.
And then they went 11-2 and beat 2 top 10 teams on the way to doing it.
Yep.
So just because your team didn't look great in week 1 doesn't mean you're not going to have a great team.
Yeah.
But it's just great to have football back, man, to be talking about football.
It really is, man. Look, Texas lost, Alabama lost, Notre Dame lost.
I know.
I mean, like, it's good. It's a great time to be in the Big Ten. It really just is.
It is a great time to be in the Big Ten. And if you're a Minnesota Golden Gopher fan, you saw your team look great and some of your rivals look not great.
Yep.
So that's exciting too.
Yep. Love it.
But everyone's going to improve. None of it means a lot. You know, what really matters is conference play. So that said, I'm really excited for about this week, and I'm excited to get into week 2.
Yep.
There's some really interesting games. I think, man, I'm calling my shot. I know this isn't the preview episode, but I think Michigan's going to beat Oklahoma.
I think so too. I'm a little concerned. One of their star players is going to be missing a half.
Right. Yep. Because of targeting.
Which
is such a bad. It was a bad targeting call.
It was a bad call. I agree. I don't think
I'm so sick of targeting, man.
Yeah.
It's like they need to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I think targeting should only be a thing if the guy is trying to hurt somebody, and you can tell. And they say, "How do you know?" It's like you can tell.
There should be tiers to it, or something. Yeah, exactly. Well,
yes, it shouldn't be automatically you're out for the next 4 quarters. It should be like you're out, or 2 halves, I guess. But it should be like you're out if there's intent.
Yes.
But like sometimes things just happen really fast and you do targeting by accident, and that should be a 15-yard penalty, and that's it.
Yep. Agreed. That's what this should have been. Absolutely, in my opinion. So, but we'll see. I still think I will still pick Michigan, but I think that, missing that one of those key players could hurt them a little bit, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yep. For sure.
But, all right,
Any other thoughts, John, about the Big Ten in week 1 before we get out of here?
No. As of right now, everyone's team could win it all, even the ones that lost.
It's true.
We're that early. So just remember that.
So even if your team had a rough week 1, it's a long season, you could bounce back. If your team had an awesome week 1, it's a long season, your team could get worse. So, but enjoy the moment, because that's all we get. We get 14 weeks, ride the ride, ride the wave, enjoy it. This is beautiful. We get actual football. Get excited about it.
That's right. Cool.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching or listening, and we will see you in the next one. It'll be out in the next day or 2 to preview week 2.